record in 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Happy Life with Maria podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Danielle Robay, who is a host, a journalist, a podcaster, and an all-around amazing human that is just like lighting up every room she walks into. Very authentic. What you see is what you get kind of person. Welcome, Danielle. So excited to have you.
Maria, thank you. Thank you for that beautiful intro and just for your vibrant, bright self because we were lucky to meet at an event in New York a few months ago and I just didn't want to stop hugging you. You spread
Oh,
joy everywhere you go.
that is so kind. Thank you so much. I remember,
True.
yes, that was such a unbelievable meeting. So for everybody who doesn't know, Danielle has created the Question Everything cards, which I am obsessed with. And I went to the event in New York just to thank her for creating this, and we connected, and it was beautiful. And you were kind enough to agree to do this for me. So thank you so much.
Of
Um,
course.
So, for those who don't know, I would love to ask you a little bit of the background story of Danielle Robay, if you were willing to share. What does Robay even stand for?
Absolutely. So Robay is my middle name, and my mom named me. It's after my two grandmas who are named
Oh,
Rhodey and Barbara. And so it's Roba, and then my mom put through a Y on it. But she said
oh,
from the very beginning, from when I was very young, she said, you came from a long line of strong women.
oh.
And I actually think it planted a seed within me because from as early as I can remember, I have seen the world through the lens of being a woman. Like so much so I had a 6th grade project. You could pick anything you wanted to research in the whole world. People picked NASCAR, people picked anything and I labeled my research paper Her Story and I showcased women who were like lost in history like Marie Curie and so I think that's been my lens my whole life.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Yes, I definitely see that in you. There is a lot of passion you have for what you do.
Mhm.
There's a lot of and for those who don't know, you're a very amazing storyteller, amazing interviewer
Thank
from
you.
just from my own experience, like watching other podcasters. There's a lot of podcasters. Yours really stands out to me always, the way
Thank
you
you.
host, the way you interview, all the work that you do. It really stands out to me. Just from my own personal opinion.
That means
Um,
so much to me. Thank you.
yeah, no, the questions you ask are very unique. The way you get the guests talking is very different from anyone else. Like, there's no one else that gets to like the real story like no one else like you. So I definitely want to shout out to you for
Thank
being so
you.
talented. What would you say was the inspiration for you to even get into the whole journalism situation?
Yeah. So I came from a more traditional journalism background than some podcasters. I think, you can
Yeah.
enter the space in so many different ways. And that's what's so cool about podcasting is everybody brings their own lens. But I definitely bring a journalistic lens. And maybe to your point, that's part of the reason I ask so many questions. But um, I loved political science. I was a political science major in college, and it was my favorite class in high school. I came from a family where the dinner table was very conversational. And, my grandfather, we would see my grandparents every Sunday, and my grandfather they called me Dolly, and they'd say, okay, Dolly, what do you think about the president? And what do you think? And I was like, 10. And so,
Wow.
um, I think it spurred something in me to care, and to care about I'm such a patriot. I care about our democracy and our country and the good of people and I believe in it and I think democracy is a verb. So, you only get out what you put into it and when I was in college, my mom called me and she said, "You're a theater kid. I did theater my whole life and you love political science. What if you combine the two and you did news?" And you were a reporter. And I was like, I guess you're right. That is sort of like you're performing a little bit and like you're on TV, but you're also talking about important issues. And so I applied for an internship. I went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I applied for an internship
Mm.
at the Fox station there at the time And I got it. It was a very prestigious internship, actually. It was hard to get. And I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I got the internship. And he goes, Are they paying you? And I said, No, it's an internship. And he goes, Call me when someone's paying you. It's a hobby. So
Wow, wow, the standard from the beginning.
so from the beginning, totally. But I did the internship and I fell in love. I loved storytelling. I loved hearing everybody's story from all walks of life. And I loved the idea that I could help craft their story, right? Because when someone tells their story on the news or in any sort of format, even in podcasting, the host, the person who's asking the question, also has the shape of the story in their mind and through their lens. And so it just felt a little bit like a public service, and also like such a like an amazing career. And that's where it started. And then it definitely took a turn because I moved to LA and started working in entertainment news as soon as I graduated from school, which is a very different industry than local news. And it's been a windy road ever since.
Where did you grow up? Which city did you move from?
I grew up in Chicago, in the suburbs of Chicago, and
Oh,
then went to
from
school in Madison, Wisconsin.
Chicago. Oh, wow. So you
Yeah.
school in Wisconsin and then you moved to LA, and then it took a different turn away
Yeah.
from the news and away
Yeah.
from, wow, what a journey. Wow, from Chicago to LA. Do you feel like a difference there between Chicago and LA?
I do feel a difference. I feel a difference every time I go home because my family's still there. And,
Mhm.
I think there's no perfect place. I get to travel a lot for work. And I sometimes, I look at New York and I think of it with starry eyes, and it's such a literary city and it's romantic and there's stuff to
Yeah.
do all the time. But then it gets hectic and loud and you smell the garbage, and I leave and I go back to LA and I think there's no perfect place. So the people in Chicago have my heart. And at some point, actually in the middle of my career, I got to go back to Chicago to do a morning show. And that felt so gratifying because it's very cool to be able to tell stories when you're so invested in the city and invested in the people.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's kind of like everything has their pluses and minuses, so you basically just kind of roll with it, and you know,
Yes.
you go along with the show. I definitely want to jump into some of the current projects that you are doing. For those who don't know, Danielle is a very busy person, so one of the projects she's doing is she's working with Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine Company, and she's doing the book club for them. She's doing a podcast for them, and a lot of other things. What's that? Let me see. What does it
My
say?
Reese's Book Club mug.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Tell us
Yeah.
about that journey.
I feel so proud that I get to be a part of Reese's Book Club and Hello Sunshine because they're such a value-driven company, and I feel so in line with what they're doing, and the women that they're lifting up. I feel like Reese, when she started the book club, um I think she changed reading for so many people because it had always been a solo sport. I was used to reading alone on my couch or in my bed or in the doctor's office, and she turned reading into a lifestyle and a movement. And I would wait each month with bated breath, truly, for each book pick to drop.
Mhm.
And I was so inspired. I loved what she was doing and what she was building in the community that I put a deck together and I pitched Hello Sunshine a show about books, and I
Wait,
DM'd it.
you were approaching her? Oh wow, what a bold move.
Well, I didn't approach Reese herself. She's pretty hard to get to, but I approached Hello Sunshine, the executives at the
Wow.
company. Um, and I'm a big believer in, I do believe that luck is at play in life, but I think a lot of times you have to create your own luck too.
Absolutely.
And you have to put yourself in places to be successful. And um, when you want something, it's very rare that someone just hands you the keys. And so you got to go for it. And my mom always said to me, if you want something, go get it. It's yours for the taking. And so I hear her
Wow.
words all the time. She was such a good role model, I think. But I pitched Hello Sunshine, the show, and then nothing happened. And about a year later, I was in New York and I met with another executive there, and they said, "We're starting our first podcast. Do you want to be the host?"
Oh my God. Wow. It's like you just said, right? Nobody just hands stuff to you. You have to go out there. You have to put yourself out there. You have to see what happens. They could say yes, they could say no, but at least you have to try. At least you have to, put in
Totally.
your, and look how that just evolved
Have
into
you ever
this.
had an experience like that?
Oh my gosh. It was the funniest thing. I was obsessed with this singer who was like a runner up on like X Factor or one of those singing competitions. It was like 10 years ago. And we have Z100 here in New York,
Right.
which never ever used to have fans up in the studio. Like this was like a long time ago. They would like have a policy that is not allowed. Don't even think about it. And
Yeah.
I heard that the singer was coming to New York and that the singer was going to be at Z100.
Yes.
And me with my imaginative brain, I was like, I'm gonna get on Z100. And so I emailed, like you said, I emailed the iHeartRadio network, I emailed Z100, I emailed the host, I
Oh my
emailed like
God.
20 different people for like 2 weeks. I knew it 2 weeks before. And I kept writing the story like he's so inspiring to me. I would love to meet him in person and say thank you. And I just kept writing emails. And then the night before, because I already gave
Wow.
up, the night before he was supposed to come on, the host, I think it was Mo Bounds, emails me back. He's like, sure, come on up. Here are the passes. I was like, what? So at 9 in the morning, I'm running downtown to New York City to the station to get into Z100 to meet this singer. And he's like walking in. He's like, who is this? I'm like, I'm one of your
Wait,
fans.
how cool is this?
It happened because I just asked for it. Like you
Because you
said,
put yourself out there.
and we had the best day. We spent like the whole day together. The interview was so good. They let me do most of the interview. I was the host. I
You're
interviewed him.
kidding.
I did. I
Wait, how did that happen?
because I was in the room. The singer was like, I'm not gonna do the interview if she's not allowed in the room with me. He demanded that I go in the room with him and listen to the interview. And because I was right there and I looked so
What?
passionate and excited, that the host was like, you know what? Why don't you do the interview? And I ended up doing
Wait, can I
half of
ask
the
you which
interview.
singer it was?
It was Chris Renee. He was like somebody who used to be in drugs, something like that, and he became clean just for his son. For his
Oh,
son, he had like a
wow.
child, and for his yeah, and then he was like the message was like very positivity, the message of what you can turn a life around at any time,
Yeah,
things like that. So it was just like the general message that he had was so inspiring. So I
that's
really wanted
amazing.
to meet him, and then we spent the whole day together. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
That is
Yeah, but
so
it's like
cool.
it
What a great
was.
story.
Yeah, thank you. And it's like you said, if you don't put yourself out there, you're never gonna know. So that was definitely a moment like that light bulb went off where I was like, wait a minute, I can approach people and ask them. Sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they say
Amazing.
no. You never know. But thank you for asking that
Absolutely.
question. See, you're good. You're such a good interviewer.
It's a
Oh, beautiful.
conversation. It's a conversation.
Oh, I like that. That's true. It should be more of a conversation instead
Right?
of, instead of just like one person having all I love it. Look at you. You're already
Yeah.
teaching me. See? I love it. Okay, so I want to ask you some questions from your own question everything deck.
Uh-oh, I'm scared, Maria.
Oh, it's gonna be really interesting, really interesting.
Okay, okay.
Because it's gonna be relating to your journey, I guess, like the last, couple of years where it just kind of took off for you, I guess. So one
Okay, I'm
is,
ready.
what is the smartest decision you've ever made?
Hmm. Two things popped into my head. The first was moving to LA. And I noticed when I ask people that question, a lot of people say either the person they married or a move because I think it's a kind of a bet. A move is a bet on yourself. Um, but the other thing that popped into my head was choosing to be kind even when it was inconvenient. And I think sometimes in the short term, it's a hard thing to do. But in hindsight, I've always been proud when I choose kindness.
That's such an amazing answer. Now you're getting me inspired because I am a very big advocate on kindness as well. Like it doesn't matter what the situation is, where we are. I feel like there's always a way that you can choose to lead with kindness. There's always a way that you can incorporate that into anything that you're doing with anybody. It doesn't matter if the person is a positive, negative person, like it's up to us to be that example, you know? So I feel like when you mentioned it, I was like, I'm so passionate about that myself because you can
Yeah,
make it. I feel like it's a choice that we can make. It's not like,
absolutely.
yeah, it's not like, oh, it just is what it is. No, you can choose.
Totally.
Kindness, you can choose, how you present yourself to the world, how you interact with people. And like they always say, right? People remember how you made them feel, right? They don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. And
Absolutely.
and even like me interacting with you at that event in New York, I remember how warm and positive you were. You were very authentic, you were very real. It
Thank
was
you.
like I was like meeting a regular, like person that we just connected with. You were very authentic. There was nothing fake. There's nothing, like you get exactly what you see.
I
So
think we're all just regular people, like when I meet celebrities, I feel that way too. They're just like another person. Um, and I maybe that's the Chicago in me, but I think we owe like who wants to be anything but themselves? It's like such a weird thing to do, you know? Like to
I
be strict. I don't know, like what Martha Stewart acts so bizarre. She'll like ignore people. I'm like, for what? Like that's I don't know, I guess to each their own, but the best part of my job is connecting with people, and I love people. I love their stories. I love their heart. I think that the human spirit never ceases to amaze me, and so like, why would I not want to meet people? You know?
I know. Yes. I'm the same. Like, I get fascinated with people's stories. I get so excited because everyone is so different. Everyone's journey is so different. It's not something you could just read in a book, It's like it's their own personal life experience, it's their own personal journey. And yeah, I'm the same as you. Like, I love listening because I learn so much just
Yeah,
from, what their journey has been like. And wait, I want to ask you a question about kindness, actually.
yeah.
Was there like a moment that inspired you to be more kind? Like, was there like something where you observed where people were not kind?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been on the receiving end of some not kind people, but um I think my parents are kind people, and my dad is not nice. He's not a nice person, but he's a deeply kind person. And I like the difference because I think nice feels like it's an obligation, and kindness feels like it has boundaries, and it's about doing the right thing. And so my mom always goes out of her way for people constantly, and not in a way that is like like sort of like a stereotype of a nurturing woman. She is nurturing, but it's not that. She's not feeding into the stereotype. She believes in community. And so I think the two of them were such a good example. And then I grew up,
Wow.
the community in Chicago is kind. Like the Midwest is kind. That is a value that we hold.
Yes.
So I was lucky to grow up around it. It's interesting, Maria. I'd love your thoughts on this, but um now when I'm in different spaces in LA or New York or London and I meet new people and they're like, "Oh, you're so like nice." And it's like I don't think I'm like so much more nice or not nice than the next person. I just like want to be like what do you think? Like do you
I
feel
think
like
you are. Yes, I think you are nice. And it is rare, especially in New York. Like, I live in New
weird?
York, and it is rare. It is not everybody is nice. Not everybody is kind. It is a rarity. And I get
Yeah.
the same compliment that they're like, Maria, why are you so nice? Why are you so kind? And it's like a choice. Like I said, it's a choice I'm making. I don't care what the others are acting like. That's how I'm gonna act. And I feel
Where
like
does yours come from?
my kindness, because of, well, obviously from my parents. Obviously my mom was super, super nice, super kind, very uplifting, very happy. She unfortunately passed away.
So
um
sorry.
Thank you. But yeah, the time that I did spend with her, we had the best, most kind. Like, she never raised her voice. She would never, like,
Wow.
yeah, she was like a very she was a teacher, so she learned how to
Oh,
be
wow.
like very tactical, very diplomatic. And so she would get the information across in a very nice way, in a very like direct way, but yeah, very nice. So I would say it started with my mom,
It's so
and
special.
then yeah, thank you. And then it evolved because I used to have um a lot of situations in life where it was I guess I would say more like a physical health issues in my like early 20s. And when you
Yeah.
cannot move, you cannot do what you love. Like I love dancing and I couldn't dance and all those things. Now I'm feeling good. And it just like getting through something like that where you cannot do something that's such a makes you feel alive. You
Mhm.
just kind of see the world differently. You just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the positive. I'm going to focus on being kind, being good, because you never know what everybody else is dealing with. You never know, what they're really struggling with. So I kind of chose to go
True.
that route myself.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I love your questions. You're getting me very interesting questions. Okay, the next one. Next question is, when have you felt the closest to magic in your life?
Oh, I feel magic all the time. Um, I think kids oftentimes bring magic. I don't have my own yet, but when I'm around my friends' kids, I'm like, "Oh, this is magic." When I went to Arizona, I went to, what was it called? I'm blanking. Um,
Was it
it's
like a retreat?
it was in Sedona.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Sedona.
Sedona,
Oh,
Arizona, and there's, like, all these beautiful trees and red rocks, and it's a very spiritual place, and oh my god, did I feel magic there.
aw.
Oh, and it's close to the Grand Canyon, but that's a magical place.
Oh, I love it. Now you're getting me to think about what I find magical, because I know that's the next question.
Yeah, what we should
Well,
both answer them.
yeah, I love it. Okay, so if what I feel magical is, well, this is a little bit more in the woo-woo version,
Yeah,
because I'm very into spirituality and energy and things like that. So
I
I
think that's
actually
part of the reason we connected.
Oh, that's right. You did mention that. That's
Yeah,
right. Oh, so like I mentioned before, I had a lot of physical health issues, and I went on this journey with like yoga retreats and all these centers where I discovered the power of meditation, the power of breathing, the
yeah,
power of energy healing, and how the mind and body are connected. And I was
yes,
able to heal all my physical issues by addressing the emotional, like removing stress, addressing the inner child issues. Like I was having a lot of things from the past that a subconscious mind just blocks off.
yep,
So that journey of healing, and revealing our own power to reverse physical illness by addressing the emotional, really kind of opened my world to magical powers we have,
mhm,
because now this is one of the things I do for others, is I do inner child healing sessions, which is just like this beautiful meditative state that I get them in, and we kind of release and heal the past. We do forgiveness, all that work. And it's so powerful. What's interesting is because before that work, I was not this positive. I was a very, what is that word? Porcupine. This little animal with like sharp edges. My nickname in high school and like early 20s was Porcupine, because you couldn't come near me. I would be reactive to everything.
wow,
Yeah, I was not this positive. I was not this happy. I was miserable. I was always, yeah, like nobody could approach me, couldn't make a friend. I was just like,
wow,
why
I'm
are you
so
talking
shocked
to
to
me?
hear that.
I know that's what people say.
When
Yeah,
did it change?
when I went on this journey, because it's caused a lot of physical health issues, and then I just the body started shutting down because I had so
Wow,
much negativity in my life. I was not doing the work I wanted. I was not having any positivity anywhere in my life, and then little by little, the physical body just shut down. And then maybe like in late 20s is when I started going to these yoga retreats and learning about the power of the mind, how you talk to yourself, the thoughts you say, the
yeah,
words you say about yourself, what you think about yourself, how you see yourself, and then why, right? Is it something from the childhood? Clear that from the subconscious. All that work
mhm,
brings out the real you, because the negative one, I believe, is not the real us. It's just the traumatized, quote unquote, because it'd be like small things, but you could call it trauma, that kind of piled up. So I would say, um, yeah, that whole mindfulness and energy healing journey has taught me that I can be in charge of what I say, how I react, what I feel. I can be
Wow.
in charge of, yeah, I can be in charge of the mood I want to feel this morning. Like, I can decide this morning I'm going to have a happy day, just decision I make.
Totally.
you know and
Yep.
so little by little, like all these things, it was like maybe 10, 12 years ago this whole journey started. Now I'm on a whole different level.
Did your mom get to see the new you?
Yes, she did. She passed away like 10 years ago. This was like maybe 12 years ago that I
Oh,
started. So
wow.
she definitely saw, and she was very like shocked. Yeah, like you said, she was like, "Oh, there he is." Like
That's so great.
a whole different side of, like, she has never heard of this stuff, but she was like
Yeah.
surprised that it's possible to make this shift. So I definitely
Amazing.
feel, thank you. I feel, yeah, that I hope a lot of people realize that magic is available to all of us, and
So
we can
cool.
shift our life at any moment if we just decide, you
Yeah.
know. But thank you for the question. That was
Of
beautiful.
course.
Okay, the next one. The next
Okay.
one. Ooh, hmm, I don't know. What is the biggest sacrifice you've had to make on your path to achievement?
Oh, wow. I think for me, it's bandwidth, it's time with loved ones or friends. That feels like a sacrifice. All the other stuff I don't mind sacrificing. That I think is tough.
Yeah, I feel like people don't realize how important that family connection is. It reminds me of the story of Kevin Hart. Have you heard there was an accident he had like a few years back where he broke his back,
Oh,
and he was in a hospital. Yeah, and he is a very go-go person. He was got this
yes.
business, that business, got so many business
He's very
relationships.
go-go.
And then he saw that when he had that physical health issue and he was stuck in a hospital, none of those business people showed up. No
Mm.
one was there. The only people who were there was his wife and kids, and he kind of neglected them because he was chasing the dream.
Huh.
um and that moment, that few months where he couldn't move, he couldn't do anything, and with the broken back in the hospital, shifted everything for him. He was like, wait a minute, all these things I'm achieving and I'm chasing, but when I'm down, who's gonna be there for me? None of them, not one, no one showed up.
Yeah.
And that shifted his whole work ethic. After that, he intentionally now has, I think, 2 months off every year where he just spends time with his wife and kids, and he like presently enjoys the time with them, because he's like, that's who's really gonna be there for me.
I didn't know
That's,
that. That's a good story.
yeah, you look it up. Yeah, it was like, wow, everything shifted. I was like, wow, what a good kind of lesson for everybody, because we are chasing, thinking that, that's the goal in life, but we miss the real happiness is in the relationships, in the people around us, because
Absolutely.
that's really who's your circle.
Totally.
Speaking of chasing,
Yeah.
um, oh, what is something you wish people would see about you that they don't really see at first glance?
This one's easy for me. I wish people saw, my humor. I love
I
to
know,
laugh.
you're so funny.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if I'm so funny, but I like to laugh a lot.
No, but you're funny also.
Thank you.
I remember we were interacting. You're hilarious.
I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yes.
That's so sweet. But I think people, because they listen to my podcast, they think I'm serious or so deep. And, I actually, like, really love to have a good time and laugh and joke. But, I think that there's parts of your personality that sometimes aren't meant for the internet.
Mm.
And I don't know that I've thought about that a lot, because I like to bring my full authentic self online, and I'm like, "You know what? But maybe that part of my personality I just save for my
Inner
IRL
circle.
friends." Yeah, there's
Yes. Yeah.
URL and then there's IRL. No, no, no.
What's a URL? What's an IRL?
IRL is in real life, and URL is like a web page. So
Oh,
like it that means
I
internet or
see. I see.
or real life.
In real life. I love it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with that. I don't think you need to share every single, aspect about you
I
online.
think so.
It's like a specific purpose. If I may, what is your intention with your work? Like, what is your vision? Why you do what you do?
Yeah. I think it's twofold. The first is I always love to ask people questions that show that we are more alike than we are different.
Oh,
And regardless of our race, our religion, our gender, our ethnicity, our interests, where we came from, I think we are so alike. And I love asking questions that get to the heart of that. And I also like asking questions that showcase what's possible. I think a lot of times I hope that my interviews spark possibility in people. You know, there's that very cliche phrase that you can't be what you can't see. And
yes.
I think that a lot of times, like when we see or hear somebody's story, we're like, oh, I can do that. Or there's a piece of me that's motivated by that. And so, yeah, that's always the goal is truly information and inspiration.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. I'm the same with my podcast, The Happy Life with Maria. Is the same thing. Like I feel like people just don't know what's possible, and just being, that little beacon of light to show them what is possible, what is available, to think outside the box is life changing. I'll tell you another story. It was it Tyler Perry, who now has a big studio in Atlanta. He didn't even know that was possible until he went to an event with Oprah. It was
Mhm.
like maybe 15 years ago when she was opening her Harpo Studios or something.
Yeah.
And he walked in and he was like, "Wait a minute, we can create our own studio." That was like the
Yeah.
first time he even thought that's possible because he saw her do it, and that's when he decided it's possible. And then, like, what is it, 15 years later, he created this massive studio, but he would never
So cool.
even think was possible if he didn't see it there. Like you said, you can't create if you don't see it. So I definitely
Mhm.
agree with that. um
It's so cool.
Speaking of, giving the voice to um, people, I want to talk about your own podcast for a second, Question
Mhm.
Everything,
Thank
which has
you.
just exploded recently because of two interviews. What was it? James Sexton,
Yeah.
who is incredible. Is like a divorce lawyer who actually has a lot of wisdom in his life journey to
He
share.
does, doesn't he?
He is incredible. I was just That episode just exploded. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And of course, Mr. Scooter Braun, which was I was so excited and surprised because the general public's view of that person was one. And then I was so like happy to see you give a platform to somebody to share their side of the story, to share, their real journey. So I
Thank
was like,
you.
wow, how nice of you to kind of give that voice to this person. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you for saying that. James Sexton, the divorce attorney, I'll start with him, but um, he is freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
He's so good, not just as an attorney, but as an orator. He's so great at explaining things and sharing his wisdom. And what I realized is that even though he is an expert in divorce, he's actually really an expert in the opposite, which is love and relationships, because he's seen what doesn't work so often. And so I think his insight and his empathy is so rare and valuable. And so we talked about can you have second marriage energy in a first marriage? We talked about a statistic that kind of blew my mind, which was 73% of divorces in America are initiated by women. And that interview went super viral, which I was excited about because he deserves a huge platform. And
Yeah.
Scooter Braun, I appreciate you mentioning that interview. I really appreciate. I interviewed Jada Pinkett Smith as well, and at the time that I interviewed her, she was getting a lot of sort of negativity online as well. And I always think there's three sides to every story, and so there's always there's gray area, there's things we don't understand, And from being in news, I've interviewed all types of people, and I always feel like people deserve a place to tell their story.
Mm.
And I think Scooter hadn't been either given or hadn't felt like it was the right time to share his. I'm grateful that he was comfortable to do it on my podcast, Question Everything. But I think he deserved to have his side of the story told, and I think I asked him some tough questions that hopefully people were curious about. But also, he's a person who's clearly done a lot of work on himself. I find him to be very leaderly. I think he goes out of his way to do a lot of philanthropic work, and so yeah, I felt like he deserved a platform.
Yeah, exactly. I think from me, like when I was listening to your interview, by the way, very brilliant questions you were asking him, brilliantly leading.
Thank
You did
you.
a masterful job. I don't think anybody else could have done a
Thank
better
you.
job with
Wow.
that situation. It was such a delicate situation to, handle, and I feel like
Thank
you
you.
handled it brilliantly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then for me, I think, yeah, that was what was interesting to see how much work he has done himself. Like he really does put in the work. He does want to shift his life because he had a lot of issues in his personal and professional. It was like everything kind of, unraveled for him all at once.
Yeah.
And to see him go on this journey to, rediscover his own power again. And, I think, yeah, that was like the eye-opening moment for me. It was like, oh my God, he's truly, working on himself, and he's truly,
Did you feel like, you saw another side of him in the interview?
I personally, yes. I
Yeah.
personally did. I did not, like I said, I've never seen anyone interview him the way you did. He felt so comfortable. To me, it seemed like he felt comfortable to share
Thank
his
you.
real side of the story. He felt, I think, it just seemed to me that he was, yeah, comfortable to really address certain questions that were hard to ask. And I definitely was surprised at how much growth he grew as a person. He really
Yeah.
did. He's a very different person than he was years back, and he's, trying to change his ways, and he already, I feel like, shifted a lot. And yeah, so I was definitely surprised by how much he has grown. So that interview really was fascinating for me. Yeah,
Thank
definitely
you.
props to you for pulling off that. That was very tough, I can imagine.
Thank you so
Did you
much.
discuss that with him in advance? Did you let him know that you were going to be like letting him speak his mind?
I didn't show him any of the questions. I have a rule with my podcast. I don't share questions ahead of time. That's probably from my journalism days. But he was really an open book. I give him a lot of credit. You know, he didn't have to do the interview, and he did allow me to ask. You know, he didn't plead the fifth on anything. He allowed me to ask the tough questions, and I think he answered them.
Yeah, that was like incredible. Yeah, that interview definitely surprised me because, like you said, there was such a public view of him was one specific way,
Yeah.
and it was very few people that like maybe didn't even let him share a different side. So yeah, I was very fascinated with that interview. It still stands out to me. I was like, wow,
Oh, thank you.
it really was very special. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you
Fantastic
so
job.
much. That's so
Yeah.
kind.
I would say the next question I have, because we have a little bit of time. What part of yourself do you feel the most proud of?
Oh. Hmm. It's interesting because I haven't looked at these questions in a while, so I think my answers have changed. So thank you
That's
for bringing
okay.
them back to me. Right now, I feel most proud of the part of me that shows up when it's hard. I this year stretched me a lot. I did a lot of things that
Oh.
scared me and put myself in situations that were new, that were sometimes uncomfortable. Um, and yeah, I think, you know, when I was young and naive, I did that a lot because everything was new and scary. And I remember that feeling so well. And I constantly showed up, but I didn't feel like I had much to lose. And now, you know, 13 years later in my career, I have a little bit of a platform and, you know, a podcast and a product and more eyeballs on me. And so there is a lot to lose in my mind. And to show up scared and do it anyway feels like something I'm proud of.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely an achievement. I would definitely agree with that. Thank you for sharing because yeah, as we
Yeah,
go through the journey, as we evolve, we go to the next level. The next level is always scary. In the beginning, it's always scary. In the beginning, it's
totally.
the unknown. It's like, how is this gonna go? What is this gonna be like? And just like jumping into the unknown is one of the biggest, scariest steps. But when you get there, it's not what you imagine your mind to be. I think we created in our mind much worse than it actually is.
Yeah,
you know.
totally agree.
Okay, so we have 5 minutes left. We have to wrap this up, and I would love to um, ask you. I wrote down so many little notes. I think we covered a lot. Oh, since this is a Happy Life with Maria podcast, what
Yes.
is your um idea of happiness?
Ooh. Um, Happiness to me is fulfillment. I think happiness is a symptom of living a fulfilled, purpose-filled, kind life for me personally. And so I'm actually not chasing happiness ever really. I think it can be very fleeting and there's moments when I'm sad, but when I'm living in my purpose, I feel happy.
What do you feel your purpose is?
Oh, big question, Maria. Um, I think my purpose is to spread light. I think I was given like I'm an innately sort of like light person.
Yes.
And I think when people are like that, it is a gift because there's a lot of people who have a more depressive like feeling. And I actually think they have a gift too, because the people that have been through the most have the most to give. So I think everybody has gifts within some of the hardships, but when you are given the gift of light, I think it is your duty to spread it.
Wow, what a beautiful way to put it. I love it. I agree with that 100%. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I
Yes, it is a rare gift. Not everyone is like that. So I love that you're saying that it actually is a gift that you're meant to share.
think so.
That's so beautiful. Oh my God. Oh
Thank
my God. I
you.
love it. I love it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think if I were to ask you what would be your message for the world, would it be related to that?
My message to the world. I don't know if I have a message to the world that
You
feels so
have a
big.
message. Yes, you do.
Um, I mean, I think part of the message is that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationship. So ask people questions so that you can really not just meet them, but know them. Like I'm always surprised. I'll go to a party or a gathering, and there are friends and people who have known each other for 10 years, and I can tell they don't actually know each other that well. And so I think taking the time to deeply know somebody and feel them, it's just so powerful.
I know, I know. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And that's again mentioned the question everything cards that she has created, which I'm obsessed with. Thank you so much for creating these cards
You're
because
so kind,
I use
Maria.
them for the podcast, but it literally can be used in any situation, like you just mentioned.
Yeah,
Just to get the inner circle talking, just to kind of get to know people on a different level. And the questions are so smart, so sharp.
thank you.
I definitely, before we go, I want to acknowledge you, Danielle, for being such an amazing human. Like I mentioned in the beginning, you are very authentic. What you see is what you get. When I met you in person, and you don't know, when you meet somebody in person, what they're really going to be like. And then I was like, oh my God, she's amazing.
Thank you. Well, it takes one to know one, Maria. So you give me that
Oh,
energy. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. So, where can people find you to support you for your podcast, for the cards?
Thank you. I'm at Danielle Robay, Robay on Instagram, and everything is linked in my bio. If you like the cards, if you want to follow on TikTok or follow the podcast, everything is linked in the bio on my Instagram.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. I wish you a lot of success and
Thank you.
prosperity in all areas of your life, in the personal life, in the professional life. I feel like you said, because you are a light.
Thank
Sometimes
you.
people don't realize that actually there's a lot of work that goes into being the light. So I
There's
wish
a
you to
lot of
have,
love that goes into it, right?
yeah, so I wish you to
Absolutely.
have, yeah, so I wish you to have a good strength and energy to,
Thank you.
keep giving to the world. And yeah, hopefully we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Maria. You're so wonderful. Thank you for the light that you put into the world.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.